unfair.
Yeah, Choke That was saying that they Choke That on Periscope. We're on Periscope and Facebook Live. Choke That on Periscope was saying that, you know, he kind of bashed Rio and what should have been like, you know, one of their best times. You know, they're on the world stage, and they're bashing Rio and bashing, you know, Brazil, you know, during their best time. Which I agree with that.
Yeah,
So,
you know, I'll tell you, man. When I heard the original report, and I believed the guy. I mean, I was like, who would lie? What kind of insane, ridiculous person would make something like that up, right? And when I saw it, I was like, whoa, the cops are robbing athletes on the way to the Olympic Village, or on the way to, on the way to the track. I mean, that to me, if it had been true, would have been very disturbing. And It only adds to all the other stories that were coming out about the Zika virus, which has turned into a non-story because it hasn't really happened. Nothing's happened since then, right?
We have the effects of that for a couple months.
Oh, really? Oh, that's true.
right.
Yeah, that Zika stuff is scary, ain't it?
It is.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think of the police department, like you said, that they're going to be on their best behavior, right? So I feel like before the Olympics got started, the police chief got all of them together, and like, I'm a mom, right? And before I walk into a store, I tell my kids, listen, you better not touch nothing. You better not do nothing. And that's how the police chief was with all the cops in Rio. Listen, y'all better not hurt nobody. Y'all better not hit nobody. You better not shoot nobody. Y'all better be on your best damn behavior as all of these Olympians come into our country and we are front and center on the world stage.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty interesting. I mean, it's Well, I'll tell you what, Michelle, you brought up Japan in the Olympics. Speaking of I mean, you're talking about the Japan Olympic, the relay team. They got second place in the 4x1, and I didn't see the race, but I looked at the times because I'm a track guy. I was on the track team. I used to coach track back in my previous life, and I saw the times. I said, "Holy, I can't believe this!" Japan and China both had very fast times.
Wait. I was just shocked. So when they were coming through like the little entryway, I was shocked to see China first. There are 4 men. I said, wait a minute, do they run? I mean, is this normal? And then I said, wow.
I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to let y'all sit and try to figure out just how fucked up that comment just was. You're racist, ma'am. You're racist.
No. I'm just not used to it.
No. Don't walk that back. Don't even try to walk that.
Wait, I'm gonna do the even more racist thing. I got Chinese friends. Is that what racist people say?
Oh dear God, this is gonna be a train wreck. Joseph is saying that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Joseph is saying that Zika should be scary. It's not a new virus. It's been around for over 60 years. It's been around for over 60 years.
He's right.
But yeah, it is an old virus, but there has been a resurgence this year. So,
what type of mutation? Because I mean, the virus they first discovered it in 1947, right? In 1947. But what is it? Like, did it mutate? I still think it may be a man-made type of mosquito virus for it to mutate the way that it did and to cause all these babies to have microcephaly. And not only that, but there's people that are actually dying from the virus because they have such a bad allergic reaction to it that they're dying. So these are not just women, pregnant women, there's men, and they're not just old people. Normally you think of diseases for the young and old and they're kind of in that danger zone, but no, these are like regular folks.
Are these folks that are getting treatment? Are these folks that are getting treatment, or are these things that are going untreated?
Well, you know what? How many years was it in there before anybody even said anything about it?
Right? Somebody tried to come in, come back in. Whoever tried to come back in.
Was it 3 years in Brazil, right? It was 3 years and they were just nobody was doing anything. Is that part of the reason why their president is in trouble as well? I mean, that was a huge scandal. It was a huge cover up because you had well over 5,000 babies that were born with the disease in the past 2 or 3 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a huge cover up.
You know, I don't know. It is kind of funny how these diseases will suddenly pop up in the media and become, you know, the talk of the town and kind of a big deal. And you never heard of this stuff. And then it'll just disappear. Like Ebola. Has anybody seen Ebola? Like, I mean, we got to file a missing persons report because Ebola, it's like Ebola was, at first it was like it was going to exterminate the earth. And then now it's like ain't nobody said Ebola in the longest time. But I'm sure Ebola didn't just go away. I mean, what's the deal with that?
No, it didn't.
There was an outbreak a couple months ago, 2 months ago maybe, but I don't remember which country it was in Africa that had the most recent Ebola outbreak.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Not that I want it to come back now. I mean, it's just funny. These diseases, you know, just kind of pop up and disappear and come back, and it's sad. It's crazy. So, do y'all believe? Let me ask y'all this. You know, I saw some people that were talking about, you know, the late beloved Dr. Sebi, you know, who recently passed, and a lot of people were saying that he could, you know, cure things like AIDS and all these other incurable diseases, diabetes, stuff like that. What do y'all think about that? I mean, what are your thoughts when you hear about people that can cure things like AIDS?
I think that we do. I think it's more profitable to treat than it is to cure. Mm. So nothing would surprise me if there are actual cures out there with, but from a pharmaceutical company perspective, it's more profitable to treat for the rest of your life than it is to actually cure.
Agreed. And I think even with Dr. Sebi, you know, if he had the cure, why didn't he let everybody know what it was? And I believe in a lot of the things that he did because I followed him. But at the end of the day, it still came down to a lot of money. Right. And he had so many people that paid him. Like, I remember probably 19 years ago, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, remember that's where she was when she passed away. She was visiting him in Honduras. But I remember, you know, I had her as a client, her and her boyfriend at the time, and that's where they were. And that was one of the discussions that we had like 20 years ago when I had my firm, my marketing company. But, you know, it was kind of like he has all of these things that you can use to kind of, you know, cure all of these ailments. But my question was always, well, why doesn't he put it out there? Right? Because he's waiting to get paid. So in reality, he was like really no different than the pharmaceutical companies.
Wow. Interesting. I mean, I think that's a logical point. I mean, you know, it seems to me that if you're talking, I mean, the thing is, I've heard people talk about, you know, and I have an open mind about a lot of stuff. I mean, even, I met a lady the other day who said she was a psychic. And she's like, do you believe in psychics? I said, I believe anything's possible because there are a lot of things we don't know. There are more things we don't know than there are things that we do know, right? So I was like, well, if you're a psychic, then just prove to me that you're a psychic, you know, like, you know. And so I think that with this, you know, my approach had always been just, you know, okay, I'd love to see the evidence. I know they went to court and he had to bring, you know, witnesses and things like that. And I've heard people say that. I'd like to know more about that. I would just like to know more, you know, because I think, you know, on one hand, you know, while there's certainly things that we don't know. We know the motivations of big pharmaceutical companies, stuff like that. At the same time, we also know that black people often get manipulated by hope. You know, we have a lot of people that, you know, who will say, oh, well, I can do this amazing thing. And sometimes it's not quite what it's cracked up to be. It's not what you think it is, you know. So I don't know. I was just curious to know what you guys thought about that.
Well, those are my feelings on it, but you know, I like him, and if you really kind of look at everything that he was doing, he kind of told you what to do, but he didn't tell you directly because he wanted you to buy the products. And I'm not mad at him, you know, trying to make money at all because you have to make money, right? You have to make money, and the pharmaceutical company shouldn't be the only one to profit off of cures. But I think, and you know, his death was mysterious. We still don't understand. Somebody did mention it. Somebody did mention it in the post. But his death was mysterious. You don't know how he died, right? You don't know how he died. Somebody mentioned that Left Eye died mysteriously. She didn't. She died in a car accident.
Yeah, but a car accident can still be mysterious, right? I mean, you know, like you might not have drove yourself into that tree. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. But then again,
with him, you have nothing.
That's true. That's true.
You have absolutely nothing. at all. You have nothing. But now that we've talked about him, I want to kind of go back and touch upon the Olympics real quick, because one of the topics that we wanted to talk about was rape culture, right? And in the Olympics, I don't know if anybody was paying close attention, but there were two boxers, and one was from Morocco. I'm not sure where the other one was from, that got locked up the week before the Olympics started, that they got there for raping Brazilian women. Which is insane. Like, insane.
He was raping Brazilian women, but he lives in Morocco. So what was he doing? Hanging out in Brazil before?
He was an Olympian. He was a boxer.
He got that early.
He was visiting Brazil for the Olympics and got arrested for raping women?
Yes.
What the hell? Yes. Oh, no.
Yeah. Right inside one of them, and I believe it's the one from Morocco, that happened right in the village. It was one of the women who was cleaning the apartments or wherever they were. He got arrested for raping her or trying to rape her, assaulting her. I just know they locked him under the jail in Brazil, and nobody should want to be in jail in Brazil. No.
Have you been in jail in Brazil?
No, but I hear it's not great.
Really?
I hear it ain't great.
Well, you know what? I mean, if he really was out raping women, you can't feel sorry for him. I mean, I think it's insane, and I think that's what happens sometimes is that we get too many. Wait, say it again, brother. I'm sorry. What you say? Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that was Michelle reading comments.
Oh, she said right down. What is your name, brother? I'm sorry, she didn't tell me.
I'm Bobby.
Bobby. Let's do a quick introduction, a reintroduction. This is the Bobby and Michelle show, you guys. That right there is Bobby. Bobby is obviously black, Republican.
Here we go.
And gay. And an atheist, right?
a black, gay, Republican atheist. You just checking all the boxes, brother.
Right? And then me, I'm like this little homegrown sweet. I'm the pillar of the community.
Yeah, okay. We'll accept that.
I can't stand you. I cannot stand you. I really can't.
He's hating you guys. He's hating. But listen, and then so after them you have Darren. What's his name? Darren.
No, you got to finish introductions.
I thought that was.
You
forgot about me.
I'm sorry.
Here. Hello.
You so busy selling your bullshit. You forgot to introduce
yourself. Hell, right. Hello, motherfucker. I'm over here.
Pillar of the community.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have Dr. Boyce Watkins, who absolutely needs no introduction. Everybody who's in here who should absolutely know who he is. Right?
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for including me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for reminding me.
I'm graciously grateful. Now, please, you were saying something before we jumped in.
Was it Darren? Is his name Darren Sharp, the NFL player who was kind of running from state to state, raping everybody? I'm trying to understand.
Oh, well, by the way, somebody on my Periscope was asking, who is she? And I don't know if you said your own name, Michelle Martin.
Yes, Michelle Martin.
AKA Pillar of the Community.
Mm-hmm.
Now going back to what you were saying about Darren Sharper, that case was so strange because he clearly has an issue, right? I mean, this man is out of his mind. I mean, it's, and it's so interesting because before all this went down, I remember hearing women talk about how handsome he was and all this other stuff. And so again, as a person who doesn't understand the mindset of rape, and I heard it's all about power and stuff like that.
Right.
It does make you just wonder, like, I mean, why do you have to do anything out of the ordinary to get a woman to have sex with you? Women I know were asking about him, like I knew him or something. Like they were like, "Ooh, how do I get with him?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know the dude. And so it's just weird to see somebody like him do something like that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And another thing, a girlfriend of mine who's not a friend, but a Facebook friend she posted about rape culture, and I was so surprised at how many men did not understand that no meant no, especially if a woman was passed out drunk. If a woman or a man is passed out drunk, no means no. Like, they can't even consent. And I was really shocked at the amount of men who needed clarification on, okay, but what do you mean? So one of the guys was literally like, okay, so if I'm drunk and she's drunk and we consent before she passes out, am I still a rapist?
Yes, he's still a rapist. Wow. If she's passed out, he's still a rapist.
Wow.
I would think so.
I'm like,
that's interesting. Those are, you know what? I feel like those are just questions that I don't even want to have to fucking ask. You know what I mean? I don't even want to have to be in court being like, well, I was drunk, she was drunk, she passed out, we were having sex, this is what happened. I mean, to me, I think that a lot of problems can be avoided by just being a little more intelligent about just, everything that happens before all this goes down. Because, alcohol impairs people's judgment, right? There are a lot of people in prison for things they did while they were on drugs or while they were drunk. So, in my opinion, it means that, at least if you're talking to a person that's going to college, I would just tell my son, be real careful with alcohol. Be real careful with alcohol because, when you go to court and they're holding you accountable for what you did, you're going to be held more accountable, especially as a black man. You're going to be held more accountable for what you did when you were drunk than anybody else. Everybody else can say, well, I was drunk and this is why I did this and this is why I did that. The white kids can say it. I think women can say that. I think that when a woman's under the influence or something happens or goes down, there's not really a push for accountability. That's up to her mother. It's up to her mother to say, sweetie, when you go to the parties, don't pass out drunk. Don't do this. Don't do that. Society really isn't going to do that, which is fine. I don't think that's my job. But for my son, I would tell him, look, you got to be really careful. I taught college students for a long time, and I saw a lot of the most horrible things happen, and people do terrible things while they were drunk. And it was like nobody warned them. I felt bad for them because they thought that you're supposed to go to college and drink until you throw up and you're half dead. I'm like, no, because you're going to be held accountable for everything that happened while you were under the influence. Because I really believe that some people do things when they're drunk that they wouldn't do if they were sober. We know this, right? We know this. So again, and so I think if you're talking about these mistakes these bad choices people make while they're drunk, I imagine, sexual assault is part of that too, especially, and then you talk about situations that are cloudy and ambiguous. People don't remember exactly what happened. It's one person's word against the others. It creates a mess. It makes it hard for regular people who don't understand dumb behavior to try to figure out who did what and why and what's the proof. Even when you talk about sex, there are some people, I had a friend tell me one time that he was going to have sex with a woman that told him that he wanted her to pretend to rape her. He wanted her to, or she wanted him to like throw her around and hit her and be rough and all that. I was like, don't you do that. What'd you say? What'd you say? Shut up. Anyway, and so my feeling was like, no, don't have sex with this person because if she goes to you and says, if she goes to the court and says, oh yeah, he raped me, here are the bruises to show it, you're done. You're done.
Right. Absolutely. No, I agree. But that brings me to the next point, which somebody on the Facebook Live added was the Nate Parker case, right? Nate Parker. And I've read so let's go back. Nate Parker in 1999, I want to say, he was at Penn State, and he was a wrestler, and the guy who wrote the script, Birth of a Nation, right? They were roommates or something, and they had this girl who I guess he had sex or oral sex with before, or whatever it was. And they took her back to the apartment, and he decided that he was going to have sex with her. She was like really, really messed up, and she kind of passed out. Once she passed out, he invited his friends in. One friend said, no, I'm not going to do it. But the other friend, who actually is his partner in this movie, who actually wrote the script, he decided to join. And so she finally went ahead and said something, and they went to court, and got off on a technicality. He got off on a technicality.
Hold on, Michelle. On Scope, we had a comment, which is, why do rape cases appear at the pinnacle of someone's career? I don't think they appear at the pinnacle of someone's career. I think what happens is,
he put that out there.
But that's the thing. The victim's family spoke out, because they're seeing this man lauded throughout Hollywood and throughout the country. And the victim's family, and the victim actually committed suicide a few years ago after the rape. So once the victim's family saw that, they spoke out. So I don't think it appeared at the pinnacle of his career. I think, it's just kind of I think it's just an old adage of what's done in the dark will come to light. So, this was done years ago and it's now coming to light.
Yeah, I agree. And so there's a transcript of a phone conversation that him and the girl had. And if you read that, he pretty much admits everything and knows that it was totally messed up what he did. And he was just kind of like, I feel bad because she wasn't sure if she was pregnant. And if she was pregnant, who was she pregnant by? She didn't even know how many guys. She's like, who else did you let in the room? And how did the other guy come in and how did we start having sex? Like, she just had like a lot of questions. Right. And it's in this transcript, which was believed by, I believe, Deadline.com or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But I believe who released the transcripts of the phone call. And she just had a lot of questions. And she was like, I don't believe in abortion. But at the same time, I don't even know who the father could be because I believe that her period may have been late. So her cycle was late. She wasn't sure. It'd been 2 months. She didn't know it was, was it 2? Was it 3? She didn't know. How many people were in the room? How many of them did you allow to have sex with me? And he's like, well, you were like, he told her something like, I know it's hard to talk because, when you have a dick in your mouth. I was like, what?
Wait, he said
yes,
that?
that's in the transcript.
Are you following these Facebook comments, Michelle?
I'm not.
Was she wait, like, so when he said it's hard to talk when you have a dick in your mouth, what was he referring to?
That she could have said no.
Oh,
but
that's what I'm trying to understand. So, again, not being TMI or weird about it, but I'm trying to imagine. I thought she was passed out. How do you have the whole dick in your mouth scenario go down if she's passed out? You know what I mean?
That's what he was telling her. So you got to read the transcript. Like you have.
Oh, so it was like a contentious back and forth. And
it wasn't. It seemed like they were having a calm conversation, and somebody just said Lauren just said that police wanted her to get the info from him, and she was in and out of consciousnness. Is what they're saying. She was in and out. She just didn't remember.
Okay.
Like she blacked out.
Okay. I hate this shit. I hate this. I hate having to even sort out this stuff because to me it adds another layer of complication when you're like, you're like, okay, if she was passed out, then it's a little clearer to me. You can't have sex with somebody who didn't pass out. Let's go ahead and say that, okay, it's not so much a matter of, even if someone said yes before, if they say yes and then they pass out, then the answer must implicitly become no. Right, I think that's a point for people in the political football game, right? That's a point for the liberal, whatever. Okay, but then it's like, but she's going in and out of consciousness. She's not. Is she waking up and saying, "Oh my God, what's going on? Let me out of here"? Or is she saying
she can't remember anything?
She remembered bits and pieces. She would wake up and remember bits and pieces. So it was a mistrial, and then she chose not to testify anymore.
So they let it go away.
Right.
I don't know. I will say that I guess the question becomes part of the question politically becomes because
Dante is saying the problem is coming up again because they want to kill this movie.
Yeah, I think so too. And I guess it's almost like if you the question is, look, if you're in and out of consciousness because you've made the decision to drink so much that you don't know what's going on. There's a difference between things you do versus things other people are doing to you, right? So we can look at this and kind of think of it as, okay, you got a bunch of drunk people. I'm sure she wasn't the only one who's drunk. And some people are doing things and some people are having things done to them. She's kind of in the middle of both, right? Like the guys are there. Maybe she doesn't want them there. But then, there are other people saying that she was engaging in whatever with in the situation. Now, maybe she was intoxicated. So then, sorry.
No, I'm talking to Lauren Michelle, who is who's commenting. So I'll do that quite often. So I'll talk to whoever's commenting while you're talking. I'll just tell them that they're right. So I wonder.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. Let me say this. Look, I mean, I think that then you get into this whole interesting conversation where there are people now who truly believe that if a woman has been drinking and you have sex with a woman who's been drinking, you are technically a rapist. I don't believe that. I've heard people say that. They say, well, if she's drunk, even if she's not passed out, if she's drunk and she consented, that's not consent. And that's an issue for me because if I get drunk and I go out here and I stab somebody, I saw a young brother who smoked some bad weed. He took a hit of weed. It had PCP in it. He killed somebody while he was high on PCP and he got the death penalty. So to me, I've always been against, binge drinking on campuses. And this is why. I think adults have to warn young people about the serious implications of just getting in crazy situations like that, because then all the adults have to figure out what happened.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, you have to teach your children responsibility, but at the same time,
Let me
go ahead.
So I hear what you're saying, Boyce, but at the same time, right? And I'm gonna drag Bill Cosby into this. If a woman is passed out, where she's going in and out, where you can tell that she is not in her total.
That's not the same.
No, it is the same. It is the same. If a woman is passed out, it's like having sex with a dead person.
No, I know. I'm saying if someone is passed out, you're absolutely right. What we're talking about is two intoxicated adults. If it starts out and it's consensual and they're both intoxicated, you can't then say, okay, that it was, in my opinion, you can't then say it was rape because she was drunk. If he was drunk also, two drunk people have sex. That's just bound to happen.
True, but at the same time, I think that men need to understand, and you guys need to tell your sons, if a woman is drunk and she's coming in and out and you're not quite sure of the situation and you don't know her very well, the possibility of her saying that you raped her is high, right? So at some point, men need to go ahead and get these young boys and have them to get their shit together, right? Because that's the point. See, the problem is that a lot of times we want to blame the victim, right? We want to blame the victim, which she should not have been doing. But people need to have some common sense as well. So if you're a man, right? So women can't do this to men because obviously if you guys are passed out drunk, y'all pieces ain't going to work. Right?
That's a lie.
Right?
That's wrong. That's wrong.
It's not going to work.
That's wrong.
I didn't know this was all common knowledge, but hey. But he's saying that it's not true.
It's not going to work, right?
No, that's wrong.
I would have, even if it did work, I would have the common sense to say, you know what? This dude is totally just out of it. Is out of it. I am not going to touch him because I don't want him to wake up in the morning feeling all wet and then claiming that I raped him.
Okay, but Michelle, you got to admit, that was a bit sexist.
There's nothing sexist about that.
That's completely sexist. You're basically saying if a guy's passed out with a hard dick, he can't be raped.
Oh.
I don't think it can get hard.
Wait. He's got a point.
What do you mean you think he can't get hard?
I've been a man for a while now, and I know that sometimes, things happen while a man's asleep. And
I need the men to weigh in on this.
Look, I drink a lot, but quiet as it's kept, it still works. So, I mean, and you and I both know, I mean.
Well, I don't know shit.
You and I both know I've had some nights I drank just a little bit too much, and my judgment would definitely be clouded. Don't mean I'm consenting, but it definitely doesn't mean I'm going to be like, let me see. I wouldn't feel bad.
He wouldn't feel bad if a woman used him like that. But see, I now have daughters. I have sons. My sons are 27 and 24. Both of you guys know this, right? I always had the conversation with them. I have friends who went to jail when they were.
Kunte said Morningwood. What do you think about that? Morningwood, that counts. Morningwood. No, we're not reaching. preaching. Look, I don't wake up till 7:30,
that's not,
but the dick wakes up at 6. So I mean,
he said the dick wakes up at 6. But you know what? But what he said, I did read this somewhere that when a man goes to sleep, his testosterone levels rise, which causes him to wake up with an erection, which is why a lot of men want sex in the morning. So I think he's got a point. He's got a good point.
Michelle.
She ain't saying nothing, so we must be right.
Michelle.
I'll give you all that. I'll give you all that.
Thank you. Boys, if you were not here, she would argue her point till 6 in the morning. I'm so glad you.
I want to see it. We're going to sit here at 6 in the morning. I'm going to need you to pass all the way out. I need you to go in, get that bottle of tequila or whatever you drink, and I need you to pass all the way out, and then I want the camera there at 6 in the morning. I want to see it.
Michelle, you've been trying to do that for 6 months now. That's the setup. I ain't falling.
Y'all ridiculous.
All right, but wait, back to my point. I have sons that are 27 and 24, and one of the serious conversations that I had with them, they both went to college, was like, listen, dude, if a chick is drunk and she passes out, or you could tell she's staggering or she's doing whatever, do not have sex with her.
Right.
Don't do it. Now, on the flip side, I have 2 daughters. One is 11 and one is 6, and they're going to go to college, right? And even beyond. So my conversation with them is going to be, listen, you have to be careful of how you drink, where you drink, who you're surrounded by. Even me, a grown woman, I don't go out and get drunk. Right? I don't do it because I don't know, what's going on. I need to be aware of what's going on around me. So I know that I need to have that conversation with my daughters. And of course, we don't always want to tell women how you should dress, what you should be doing. But because we understand that not all men get it, you need to watch out for yourself. So if you're going somewhere, just be very careful, right? And if you know that you're going to go somewhere and you're going to be coming home at 3, 4 in the morning, and there's a possibility that you're getting in a cab or public transportation or whatever it may be, I'm going to need you to watch how you're dressed. It's not because of you, it's because of those fools that are out in the street. So you need to be able to, if you have a drink or two, that's fine, that's cool. There's no problem with that. But don't drink to the point where you do not know what is going on around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think that a lot of times it's like when it comes to young people, I see it almost like we have to protect them from certain groups of people. You have to protect young ladies from men who are going to rape them, no matter what. You have to teach them strategies, about alcohol and just protection of yourself, right? Without infringing on their rights, but let them know what's out there. But you also have to right, and you also have to protect young men, as you mentioned, men like your sons, from the women out there who will lie on you, who will get mad because you're talking to Sally now instead of them, and then realize that, if I just go tell the police that he raped me, then they're gonna go lock his ass up, and that'll ruin his life right there because he's a black man. And as we see, I guess from Nate Parker's situation and many others, if you're a black man and you get accused of something like that, you're done. You're done. People will treat you like you're guilty just because one person said that you did something. And that's wrong, and I think what's funny is, Michelle, you remember this. I wrote an article about that where I was warning brothers about, spreading their seed around too much, get with too many women. I said, because some of these women will lie on you. I remember getting attacked by a lot of feminists and, feminist sympathizing kinds of people who just got mad at the fact that I even mentioned that women lie about rape. And you know what I told them? I said, y'all can fuck off because I know it's true. I got data, I got facts. And what was interesting to me is it really showed me the impact of the political armies and how ridiculous they get, like the liberal Nazis, how ridiculous they get when they just sort of say, well, we're going to throw out logic, we're going to throw out truth. We're just going to repeat the same thing over and over again until it becomes true. I would literally get emails from people who literally had the same words in their emails because they literally just copied and pasted somebody's article that was written on, that was written with false assumptions. Like it was really funny. Like they all kept quoting the same stupid article that said something like, the odds of a man being falsely accused of rape are lower than the odds of being struck by lightning. And I swear, I saw like literally over 300 people recite the same fucking article. So I said, what is this article? Let me find it. Let me read it. I read the article. I looked at the origins, and there were professors who disputed the article. It was in Slate.com. So some people think that because it's in a big liberal publication, it must be true. I looked it up, and there were professors who spoke out and said, this study, this was wrong. This guy didn't even do a study. He just did some bullshit calculations. Here's the truth. But the thing was that because it became political, you had people reciting a lie as if it was true. This lie had gotten as high as Vice President Joe Biden reciting this on TV. And it wasn't even an actual academic study. But that's how bad the lies get. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the times the casualty is young black men.
True. So true. All right, so let's move on. We talked about rape culture enough. Now we need to get into politics.
Oh, God.
So
wait! I thought we were already talking about politics.
No. We need to really get into politics.
Oh, you talking about like Hillary, Trump, and all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead.
Don't look like that, Bobby. Listen, you chose your candidate, right? You chose him very early on, which is
yes.
Who did you choose?
Trump.
You chose him early on, really? You weren't forced to choose him? You chose him even when you had other Republicans to pick? Wow.
I chose him early on. First of all, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. But I chose him early on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very early.
Why was that?
Well, no, not initially. Initially, I thought it was funny. Initially, I thought it was funny because I thought he was trolling. I really didn't think he was serious initially. But then, I guess it was probably about 3 weeks in, as he started to speak more. Yeah, I chose him early on.
Really? What made you pick him? I'm real curious.
I'm about to sit my teeth for this conversation.
Oh, good. There she goes.
Somebody else says Johnson said you.
I agree with him. I agree with his positions on trade. I agree with his positions on immigration. I agree with his positions on our economy, and I agree with his positions on securing the country as well as this war on terror.
Okay.
I mean, there have been times his delivery is shit. Sometimes his delivery has just been absolutely shitty at times. And, and I don't defend everything he does. What Michelle won't tell you is, I didn't have anything bad to say about Sanders. Absolutely nothing bad to say about Sanders. And I've had absolutely nothing nice to say about Hillary. So, but Michelle won't tell you that part.
We both love Bernie Sanders.
Right.
I'm a huge Bernie Sanders fan, supporter, and I'm right now I'm like literally without a candidate. Of course, I'm a Democrat.
You have a candidate. You have Hillary.
She's been shoved down my throat. But the biggest thing for me is Supreme Court justice. And to me, that is really one of the only reasons that I'm voting. There's so many things like, Roe versus Wade, and there's so many things that they have control of. And I just feel, and basically for my daughters, I just don't think that anyone should be able to tell my daughters what they can and can't do with their bodies.
Interesting.
And you think Hillary's going to stand, you think Hillary's going to pick liberal judges?
It ain't about, of course she is.
What if the Republicans pay her more?
That Clinton cash. That's real.
Right.
Michelle?
So what do we think about the state of the campaign right now?
Well, your opponent is trying to get it together, right? Is that what he's doing?
Child, I don't think he can actually hold it together for longer than 48 hours. Bless his heart. He can't hold it together longer than 48 hours without saying something stupid. But, I do think that he is trying to get it together. I think that he's realizing that it doesn't matter how many stops he makes. Unless he starts facing things head on, he's not going to be able to dispel the myth that he's a misogynist racist, because that's what's being reported in the media. So I think as he, tempers himself a little bit more, people will actually see the bigger picture other than just what's being reported. And I think that's the biggest issue with his campaign is of what's being reported. I think that was the biggest issue against Bernie. They weren't reporting about Bernie. They weren't reporting Bernie's crowds. They weren't really reporting Bernie's fundraisers. They were avoiding Bernie, and Bernie was packing arenas last year. And I think that the emails prove that the DNC they were referring to her as the front runner even before the first primary vote was cast.
Yeah, I mean that DNC corruption is very, very real.
Right.
It's funny. The reason I wanted to know why you supported Trump is because I actually know normal, very intelligent black people who are voting for Donald Trump. They just are afraid to talk about it because they're going to get ostracized.
Boys, when I tell you the shit I have gotten from Michelle included, but Michelle's been nice about it. But Michelle, you have to admit, as far as whenever I've actually, argued my position with Trump, it was never based on some bullshit about I'm a Republican diehard no matter what. It's always been based on actual issues and how I feel about certain issues.
Well, I actually respect that a lot. I mean, I'm not going to vote for Trump, but I mean, at least you can explain why you're supporting him. I think that, I don't know. I think any intelligent person can see, though, that this system is so broken and it's such an illusion in terms of the amount of choice that we pretend to have, but we really don't have any choice. But, I think that when you talk about, I think you mentioned immigration and the economy. And I know she brought up the abortion issue. I know a lot of black folks whose views align actually more readily with Trump than with Hillary Clinton. It's just that we're kind of accustomed to supporting the Democrats. But, for example, with the immigration issue, Yvette Carnell mentioned the other day that black people don't have any incentive to support illegal immigration because they lose so many jobs because of it. In Chicago, there are a lot of jobs that black people used to be able to get, but they can't get them anymore. So it becomes kind of this interesting tug of war where I think that there should be – I don't really see a quid pro quo. I don't see other people supporting our issues as readily as we support their issues. And also, when you talk about the abortion issue, I think that it's – Michelle, I think that you make a good point about nobody having the right to really tell anybody what to do with their body. But – and I don't feel comfortable being telling anybody what to do with their body. But I do believe that if I'm a man and you're carrying my baby, I have a right to say something about what happens to my baby. Like you can't just tell me that my baby is your body. Because if that's my baby and it's a boy, the baby has a penis, and you're a woman, you don't have a penis, so therefore that's not entirely your body. That's somebody else's body. At least part of it is, and part of that is me. And I would like to have a voice. This idea that I don't deserve to have any rights to say anything. But yet at the same time, if you choose to have the baby, I got to pay your child support. So to me, if you can abort my baby, then I should be able to abort my child support. Right?
No, I disagree.
Why not?
I disagree. I think that, I think it is the woman's body until she gives birth. I try not to get into the abortion debate because I'm not a woman. I think it is a woman's body, but I also think that the way, when a woman carries a child and has a child, she's primarily responsible for that child. The man can just basically step back, pay his child support, and quite frankly, child support alone isn't enough.
Yeah, I don't think that's right though. I don't think it's right for a man to step back and just send money. I don't think that's the model of fatherhood. That's not the desired model. I think the father should be involved and engaged. But I think that to me, if you're expecting me to be involved and engaged, you can't just sort of tell me what to do and give me no rights whatsoever. To me, that's like taxation with no representation. You want all my money, but you don't want to let me have any sort of say in how these things happen. I think that's wrong. I think it's selfish. I think that if you're going to have a baby with me, if we have a child together, that's a partnership.
Boys, you just said if we have a child together. If it's in utero, it's not a child yet.
To me, it is. To the woman. I'll say this. When my daughter came to me and told me she was pregnant, I visualized the person. I didn't visualize something that was just, like nothing that can be thrown in the trash can. And I think people, and the thing is that everybody agrees with me on this in the sense that people that want their babies, they see their babies as real people. People who don't want their babies see their babies as whatever, a bunch of cells they can throw in a garbage can. And that doesn't make sense to me. To me, it's either a baby or it's not. It can't be a baby if you want it to be a baby, but then not be a baby when you want an abortion. I don't get that. I mean,
Okay.
most women I know when they have kids, from the time they get pregnant, they start rubbing their stomach and they're thinking about what they're going to do with the baby. And I think they see it as a human being from the time they find out that they're going to have a child. But then again, I'm not a woman. I defer to the woman on this.
But listen, and I hear you, and I think that, you know, when it comes to abortion, I think that it should be between the man and the woman, right? It should be a discussion that they should have. I do not think that there should be federal laws based on what you can do and what you can't do. Because there's a lot of men who would prefer for a woman to have an abortion, or something that they talked about and that they want to have happen together or not. But that's a discussion between them, because it is both of their child, right? It shouldn't be a federal law as to what I can and can't do with my body. And then on top of that, you know, there's so much discussion going around. Well, I think it was Pence, right? Trump's running mate, who said the minute they get in office, Roe versus Wade, that's the first thing that's going to go. Do whatever, right? And then the next thing is, well, you know, I think that, you know, if a woman has an abortion, that she should be punished, like she should receive jail time, or, you know.
No.
I think that was kind of a misquote.
Let's put that in context.
That's what I thought. That was like one of those out of context quotes that they did.
Let's put it in context, Michelle.
So, but listen, whichever way, it should not be a federal regulation. It should be between a man and a woman and what they decide to do. And it's just as simple as that. Like, you're not going to tell me what I can and can't do with my body. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think that it's you know, it's one of those things where, you know, when you talk about federal laws, it's interesting because we live in a world of laws, right? I mean, you know, it's like, I mean, could we really have a world where everybody just did whatever they wanted to do no matter what? Like, because I could decide, well, you know, my baby's 3 years old. I think I want to get an abortion. Well, the baby's already born. That's okay. It's my child. I can do what I want. The government shouldn't be able to tell me what to do. You know, there are countries like that. There are literally countries where the government won't punish you if you kill your own child, because they'll say, well, it's your child. You can do what you want, right? So there's a limit to how much so-called freedom I think we get. I think that laws might be important in terms of protecting everybody's rights. And the way I feel is that we live in a country where fathers' rights are kind of killed. I don't think fathers, you know, I feel like fathers are kind of kicked to the side, and you know, people act like they don't matter, we don't have feelings, etc. And I guess I just say this, and maybe I'm probably a little personal about it. It's a personal thing for me, because I've gone through an experience where I wanted my child more, and I couldn't get access to my child, because everything seemed to be in favor of the mother's rights to do whatever she wanted. Nobody thought about my rights.
Mark is saying murder is murder. None of y'all were aborted. This is coming from a single father raising 2 kids. Mark, that's fine, but I mean, no one is. I don't think anyone here is pro-abortion. You know, but what we're saying is, I mean, and I understand what Michelle is saying. She doesn't want the government telling her, you know, what she can do with her body, or telling her daughters what they can do with their body. I agree with that, because it is the woman's body. But let me ask you this. Do we really think there's a chance of Roe v. Wade being overturned, or is this just political volleyball that they throw it up every 4 years?
It's political volleyball.
Okay.
Volleyball. I don't think they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's funny. Like, we're so used to politicians just lying to us. You know, we just they'll just tell us anything. Like, next year I'm going to bring the tooth fairy back, and everybody's going to have $1 million. You know what I mean? And they just lie, and we know they're lying, and we're okay with that. I think at some point somebody should be like, wait, we're going to actually hold you accountable to every single thing that you say you're going to do. And if you get caught lying, that's a crime. Like, you know, I really think it should be something that politicians are punished for, so they're forced to tell the truth.
But that's the thing, Boyce. I think that's why Bernie and Trump's movement has grown. I think that's the reason it grew so quickly, because they were saying things that the politicians aren't supposed to say. You know, and they weren't apologizing for it. And I think that's what people were looking for. That's what people find refreshing. Nobody believes the word that comes out of Hillary's mouth, because we all know she's lying. You know, with everything she says, we know she's lying. Now, will she completely destroy the country? I don't think she'll destroy the country, but I definitely don't think that she's going to do anything to help the African Americans here. Not at all.
So did y'all see that documentary Clinton Cash on YouTube?
Yes.
I didn't see it. You saw it?
You should watch it. It's real deep. It kind of goes into. It basically kind of argues that the whole Clinton Foundation was just a big scam to to put money in the pockets of the Clintons and to, basically rob the people of Haiti and stuff like that. Like what they did in Haiti was really crazy, in terms of, because what would happen is these corporations, like what they basically did was they would use the fundraiser as a way to take care of their corporate friends and to also sell their political leverage to I guess go into countries and get big contracts for corporations. So they would and then in exchange the Clintons would get these massive speaking fees from the very same corporations that they were hooking up. So like in Haiti, they collected all this money in the name of Haiti, and a lot of this money went to their friends to go and supposedly rebuild Haiti, which they didn't really do. And in exchange for getting these big contracts, the corporations would pay the Clintons like $500,000 to come give a speech. Right. So that was like their way of kind of funneling, or what's the word, laundering the money, so the Clintons could actually make money from that. It was really ugly.
I'm gonna watch it. I haven't seen it. But my thing is, and Bobby and I have been having this discussion for a good year now, is that I just don't trust Hillary Clinton. I just don't. I never have. And you know what? I was always disgusted that Bill Clinton was looked upon as the first black president. I never trusted him either.
Right. Yeah, he had the first black president. And Barack Obama ain't really the first black president, but go ahead.
Okay, so we just throwing the whole filter out the window tonight. Okay. I mean that's the thing, for me, I don't trust Hillary. I don't like Hillary. I like Bernie and I respected Bernie. And with Clinton, she can't represent the people, because I feel like she owes too many people too many favors from around the world. From around the world, she owes too many people too many favors, and I'm sick of her pandering bullshit. I'm sick of her pandering now, and this is from my perspective, because she believed in traditional marriage until 2012, 2013. And then all of a sudden, once the polls changed, that's when she changed. All the while, she's taking money from all these foreign dictators from these countries where you can just be killed for being gay. So she's talking out of both sides of her mouth, and she's full of shit. She's always been there for women, unless her husband raped them. If their husband raped them, they were sluts. If her husband didn't rape them, then she's on their side. She's full of shit. That's my personal opinion. So I can't fuck with him.
I think it has too much baggage. I think there's just too much baggage that he's still carrying from, Bill Clinton's presidency and when he was governor.
She has baggage from Watergate. She has baggage from the 70s, and she's been crying since the 70s that it's a big conspiracy against her. So it's a big conspiracy that she put an email server in her bathroom. That's a conspiracy against her. No, bitch, you dumb. You can't do that shit. And then and what did she do today? She put it on Colin Powell. Colin told me to do it. That nigga told me to do it. I mean, he did it first. That was her defense today. And everybody's okay.
No. Listen, Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice both did it.
Did what?
Use their private emails.
Exclusively?
Maybe not.
No.
And maybe they didn't delete 30,000 of them either. But
hold on. So you mean to tell me that if they were out and about and they said, "Hey, send it to my personal email. This is not confidential. This isn't secure. I'm out and about. Send it to my personal email." That happened 5 or 6 times. 5 or 6 times, and the black folks did it. 60,000 times Hillary Clinton did it, and she says it's the same thing.
Who?
Hillary Clinton. It was 60,000 emails. She deleted 30,000 of them.
Listen, somebody said the real issue is Senate and Congress. They're the real problem.
They are the real problem. We need term limits because they are the real problem. That's the thing. They don't want to run for president. Why would I run for president? It's more work, and I can only do it for 8 years. I can be a senator or a congressman until I die. and I get to sit on all these boards, and my wife sits on all these boards, and my borderline special needs son sits on the board of Exxon, and he's making $3 million a year. So why would they run for president? They're not representing the people, and I'm sorry. I don't like Trump's delivery, but at the same time, DC is full of whores. I think Trump is an expensive whore. I'd rather have an expensive whore than a cheap whore, and I think Clinton's a cheap whore.
Wow.
It just doesn't look presidential though. Like I can't stand looking.
He doesn't look awake.
Did y'all hear about the congressional or the aide or whatever it was at the DNC that was going to testify against the DNC over their favoritism toward Hillary, and they found him like, what you say?
Is he dead yet?
Oh yeah, he was dead. Yeah, they killed him.
How did I know that? See? Okay.
Yeah, they found this kid dead. He was 27. Somebody shot him in the back on walking down the street, and he was killed in a neighborhood where there had been no killings in the last 10 years.
Right, and they said it was a robbery, but he had his wallet, his watch, everything. Right. Yeah.
Didn't nobody steal nothing. They were generous crooks apparently.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that I lock my doors tonight.
Yeah, you should lock your doors. You live in Philly, so that's enough reason. I'm gonna lock my doors because you live in Philly.
You live in Chicago.
That's so true. That is so true. I cannot talk. I gotta move so I can make fun of other people's shit.
Right.
I'm gonna go because y'all gonna get me in trouble. I enjoy hanging out with you.
Oh, it's too late. It's too late. This is live. This is way too late. You are already in trouble.
Y'all are too much fun, man. Y'all are too much fun. Thank you for inviting me. I had a great time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
So, Boyce, before you leave, can you tell everyone, since it's live, but it'll also be on a replay, your website where they can buy your books, Black Wealth Bootcamp, just a little bit about the things that you're doing and how people can, go in and subscribe. One thing that I think is great that Boyce is doing, and I think that everyone should realize is, politics are a part of your life, right? Because they make so many of the rules or whatever. But I don't think that you should let politicians, the federal government, any government kind of run your life. So what I like what Boyce does is that he has these, he has the Black Wealth Bootcamp, he has a bunch of other programs. There's so many to select from. And I think that people just start needing, they need to take control of their finances, need to take control of their life. If you allow the government to run all of that for you, then you're always going to have a problem. But I think that what you're doing is just showing people a way that they can take control back, control back of their financial situation. So now we can have this conversation. Like, I own a nonprofit and I can do other things in business, and Bobby is also an entrepreneur. So we have more control. But when you don't have that control, then you really feel like, it's just you're in a dire situation. And someone asked me, Michelle, well, why do you vote? I said, well, I vote because a lot of the laws that are being passed affect people who don't have the opportunity to make money. They affect the elderly. They affect so many different people. But if more people will go in and take your classes, Boyce, and do a lot of the things that you say do, it would just change your perspective. So I can sit up here, I can joke, I can have fun about politics and stuff, but I also know that I can control my own destiny moving forward.
Right.
Yeah, that's totally true. And if people want to learn more about the stuff that we do, you can actually sign up at theblackbusinessschool.com, and you can actually sign up for free at theblackbusinessschool.com. Don't forget the THE. And basically, we have a lot of programs that don't cost much. And what we just try to do is to provide a low-cost, high-quality, Afrocentric alternative to what people get with universities, because universities charge you so much money. People are dying in student loan debt, and we don't believe you should have to die in debt to get an education. So we have about 25,000 students, and it's been fun. And it's fun because I get a chance I can still be black, and I can still be a finance professor. Like, one doesn't have to sort of be thrown out for the other. because when I was working around people who weren't black, I felt like I was wasting my talent. I felt like I had to fit into a culture that wasn't mine. But I want people to know that acting black means acting financially strong. Acting black means building businesses. Acting black means being intelligent. Acting black means reading everything you get your hands on. That to me is acting black, and I think a lot of people get it. I just want to help more people get that too.
So I put it in the comments on Facebook. So I put the Black Business School, and how about the tour?
Hold on, Michelle. Michelle, hold on. Before Boyce was talking, the app shut down, so I had to launch a new live one. So can you put in the second post also?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
I just want to put all of your web links into it.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And and the tour, it's the Black Economic Empowerment Tour, and right now we're about to do some stuff in Atlanta. We're having the All Black National Convention in Atlanta, which people can find out about at allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. And that's basically a thing where we're going to just get together for 3 days and talk about black people stuff, left and right. Every panel, every film screening, every keynote, every meet and greet is about black people, black issues, everything from education to incarceration to wealth building to women's issues, black male issues, police brutality, everything across the board. We're discussing it, and we got a lot of cool people coming through, from scholars and doctors and lawyers to people like Killer Mike, the activist, the activist and rapper. So, and I think David Banner told me he wants to come, so I'm hoping he comes out because I'd like to get his perspective as an intelligent hip hop artist. So it's in Atlanta, allblacknationalconvention.com. So.
Okay, I got that one. And what's the Boyce Watkins one? The tour. Yeah.
Oh, the tour. The tour page actually is kind of on a halt. We actually put we put the tour on a little bit of a hiatus. I'm still just going around to different cities, but it's not formally part of the tour. Yeah, but we covered like 20 cities, and I was tired. I don't normally tour like that. Now I know why Lil Wayne be sipping purple, because those tours be making you tired. I needed my purple. I needed my cup. I needed something because it was hard work. Oh my gosh!
And lastly, you're about to release. You're about to release another book?
Yeah. The New Black Power, and it's coming out in a month, and it's going to be awesome, and people should check it out. And it's a collection of a lot of my essays over the years. I've written thousands of articles on different topics. And so we decided to start, compiling that information for people that, just want to kind of learn. I enjoy being a professor. That's kind of what I am all the time. But what you guys do with the show is awesome. I hope you guys will invite me back.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
I appreciate that very much, and I respect you both. Power to the people.
Thank you, brother.
And I'm about to get to work. Y'all just messing up my whole day because